where police are working to identify who killed a former Port Arthur police officer.
Plus, a family in mourning. Loved ones are remembering a Port Neches teen killed in a hit-and-run crash early this morning. What we're learning tonight about that investigation into who was behind the wheel of the car that hit him. And an overturned 18-wheeler causes a massive traffic jam along West Port Arthur Road this evening, why the roadway had to be closed for hours.
Live from Southeast Texas, 12 News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Leah Durain. Thanks for joining me tonight for 12 News. And we begin tonight with developments from the scene of a murder investigation in Port Arthur. Detectives are working to find out who killed a former Port Arthur police officer, Chris Jeffries. He was found dead by police in his home on the corner of Glenwood and Evergreen. That's where 12 News reporter Rebecca Trejo joins us live with the details. Rebecca, what can you tell us?
Leah, investigators tell me they expect to be here through the night as forensics are gathered. They also tell me that there seems to be a person of interest in this case, and they also tell me that Chris Jeffries did not report to work through the weekend, and he was last seen Friday. With lights flashing and police investigation tapes surrounding the home, the house of a former Port Arthur police officer became a crime scene Sunday afternoon.
We found his body in the bedroom near the rear of the home.
Port Arthur PD Deputy Chief Raymond Clark says they found 47-year-old Chris Jeffries dead late this evening, but the investigation began early this morning. Police received reports that former Officer Jeffries was shot in the head. Today, officers entered his home and found him deceased with a gunshot wound.
From the reports that we got, I would say that someone shot him, but we don't know why. So that's our investigation is ongoing, and we hope to find out shortly.
One neighbor we spoke with says his family heard suspicious noises from Jeffries' home the last day he was seen, Friday.
I had a nephew that said he heard some noise maybe late Friday night. And he heard my dogs barking, so he went out there to check to see what it was. And he said he didn't see nobody, but he heard a voice on Chris' porch. And it was somebody with a deep voice. He knew it wasn't Chris.
Jeffries didn't report to his refinery job this weekend. Officials within Port Arthur PD tell me he resigned from the force in 1998. His autopsy is now pending. And investigators tell me that Jeffries spent 6 years with the force. Live in Port Arthur, Rebecca Trejo, 12 News.
Thanks, Rebecca. Now, once Chris Jeffries' autopsy results are released, we will let you know on air and online at 12newsnow.com. Well, turning to weather, a look at what we can expect as we head off to work in the morning. We go now to meteorologist David Walter. Hi, David.
Hey, Leo, we are looking at pretty good weather out there right now. Visibility-wise, no problems down at Lamar State College in Port Arthur. There is that chance we could see a little bit of fog develop. If you step outside, it's fairly clammy, and that's because we're dealing with that cool dampness in the air. And that's thanks to that southerly wind, and that's going to really start fueling the fire for rain, not only tomorrow, but especially on Tuesday. Right now, looking at pinpoint top of the radar, you can see some showers in and around Jasper, most of the activity north of the viewing area. Tonight, we're not looking at a whole lot of wet weather, but a few showers will be out and about for your morning commutes, and as the kids head off to the school bus stop in the morning, we'll be watching a few of those showers, not only during the morning, but also during the afternoon. Tomorrow, just rain, but Tuesday gets a little dicey. We may have that threat for severe weather, and I'll talk more about that in the forecast.
All right. I'm going to have my fingers crossed waiting
yes,
for that.
All eyes on that forecast.
All right. Thanks, David. We'll see you in just a little bit. Well, family members tonight are mourning the death of 16-year-old Antonio Moretti, who was killed in a hit-and-run crash in Port Arthur early this morning. His family shares this picture with us of that Port Neches teen. Moretti and Tazik Crow were on a small motorcycle on the Highway 69 feeder road near Jimmy Johnson Boulevard around 3 this morning when a driver hit them, throwing both men off the mini bike. Police say Moretti died at the scene. Crow is seriously injured.
Something of this type is quite unusual for the area, being that the vehicle, or the motorcycle, the mini bike, was lodged beneath her vehicle for some ways.
Police say a Hispanic woman in her 20s confessed to hitting them, and she says she drove to the Sunset Way apartments afterward. Deputy Chief Raymond Clark says investigators are trying to find out if she really was the driver by reviewing surveillance video and talking to witnesses. Well, tonight, all lanes of West Port Arthur Road are back open after crews worked for over 4 hours to clear an overturned 18-wheeler. The Texas Department of Public Safety says just before 5 this evening, an 18-wheeler being driven southbound on West Port Arthur Road by 37-year-old Frank Bennett of Orange went across northbound traffic lanes and then off the roadway. Bennett was taken to the Southeast Texas Medical Center for treatment to non-life-threatening injuries. Troopers say a water load made removal of that overturned 18-wheeler difficult. Meanwhile, a Jefferson County Sheriff's deputy who was directing traffic in the backup from that overturned 18-wheeler escaped injury when an intoxicated driver T-boned his patrol unit. Again, the deputy is okay. He was actually outside of his vehicle directing traffic. The driver is facing a driving while intoxicated charge. Well, in this week's Crook Cam, the Beaumont Police Department is asking for your help in identifying suspects who stole a Yeti Tundra 65-gallon cooler from M&D Supply. On Tuesday, February 2nd, about 6:40 in the evening, 2 men entered the store. One of them distracted the cashier and sales clerk while the other one loaded on this Yeti cooler into a shopping cart, pushed that cart straight out the door without paying. Well, both men got into a light-colored Chevrolet pickup truck that was pulling a dual-axle enclosed box trailer. Now, the first suspect distracted clerks, and he's described as being about 5'9" tall, medium build, 40 to 45 years old, black hair, heavy eyebrows, and he was wearing a black hoodie and dark blue jeans or possibly black jeans. Now, the second man, who was the one who actually put the cooler in the shopping cart, also described as about 5'9", medium build, late 30s. He had brown hair and glasses. He was also wearing a black Nike t-shirt and blue jeans at the time. Now, if you have any information about this or any other crime, be sure to call Beaumont Crime Stoppers at 833-TIPS. You do not have to give your name, and you may be eligible for a cash reward.
We will be tracking some cold fronts over the next couple of days, and not only will that cool us down, but that will bring us that threat for severe weather. I'll talk more about it after the break.